Hello and welcome to the coronavirus edition of Tobin Talks. As you can see, I'm not in my office. We're working from home as we're being asked to do in order to self-quarantine. But I am getting a ton of calls from both buyers and sellers who are under pending contracts asking about their rights. And this brings up a very interesting subject. Today we're going to talk about the executory portion of a contract. Excuse me. That's the period of time between when the parties have signed the contract and when they close the contract. There's always a risk during that time. Contract governs it generally as to most casualties, hurricanes, earthquakes, things that would come under the umbrella of force majeure. Force majeure means things beyond one's control. So many people have asked, buyers particularly, can I get out of this contract? I'm worried about the valuation. I don't think the property's worth what it was. My lender will no longer make the loan because the credit markets have frozen. I no longer have a job, unfortunately, because of what's going on. So for a number of reasons, buyers have been calling and want to know their rights to get out of the contract. Well, the contract doesn't really provide much in this context. There's nothing about a virus in a contract and what would happen if a pandemic virus put everyone in quarantine for a while. Question of whether a virus like COVID-19 would fall under force majeure is strictly a factual question for a judge to decide. In my opinion, the longer this goes on, the greater the consequences it has, the more viable the force majeure argument is for a buyer to get out of a contract. Now, if you're a seller and you're under contract and your buyer is threatening not to close or not able to close, you have certain remedies. And your remedies, again, are subject to the court's final interpretation, but the courts won't be back open and doing business as usual for a long time. So I've done previous talks about the pre-suit mediation provision, and that's a good option here. But if you have a situation where your buyer or your seller is not sure they want to go forward, and there are circumstances that you're not sure of whether they qualify as force majeure, then I would certainly contact a lawyer and enforce your rights as best you can under this situation. We're all going to have to work together. The markets will have to be patient with each other. It's going to be an adjustment period. But as with every casualty and calamity that we've been through, the market will survive, and one way or another, you will be fine. If you have any questions, feel free to call our office. As always, I thank you.